next poem I call Fit for Life, and I wrote it fairly recently. At the fitness center, the audio system is playing classical tapes, and while I'm working the machines, March Militaire begins. Dum-da-dum, da-da-da-da, dum-da-dum-da-dum. Good Lord. 60 years earlier, I pounded that piece out on the second-hand spinet in my parents' living room, while Aunt Pearl on the piano bench beside me urged easing up the pedals. Dum-da-dum, da-da-da, dum-da-dum-da-dum. My aunt gave me lessons Saturday afternoons, suffering through them for my father's sake. He wanted me to have accomplishments. But Aunt Pearl and I knew that my foot was fleeter than my fingers, and when the hour was over, we'd smile in relief. Then she'd sit down alone to play Chopin, embracing the keyboard with calm and capable hands. Afterwards, she'd brighten herself with lipstick that matched her polished nails, and if the streets were damp, pull on a pair of high-heeled galoshes, and my father would walk her to the subway, where she took the E and then the Broadway local back to the room where she lived alone. Sometimes she'd meet friends for dinner at Tiptoe Inn or Schrafft's. On Sundays, listen to the Philharmonic while knitting Afghans for the poor. The day the broadcast was interrupted by the announcement of war, we were listening together. 1941. No marching band. That. Everything looks different now, I said at the window. That's because you know, she said. Aunt Pearl was my father's younger sister, and because he took care of us both, and sometimes called me by her name, I thought we would grow old together. I was astonished when she died. The last time I saw her, jaundiced in a hospital bed, beauty parlor hair dull, disordered gray, she whispered a question about Patty Hearst, that lost and captive girl. She told me she felt sick. I heard Death and the Maiden in the doorway. She said, remember always to color your hair. I followed her advice, and looking around the fitness center, where many come for rehab and some to stave off stiffening, see alchemy at work for others too. Few are young here. It's pleasant to forget a while that fit for life does not mean forever. Mm-hmm. I often write poems that have reference to the Bible, and this has reference to Genesis, as well as to science, called What the Astronomer Said. In 6 explosive seconds, density burst, elements roared, cosmos woke. At second number 7, did God rest? Watch for 13 billion years, the elastic sling of space, stretching and flexing, dust particles scatter, galaxies cohere. 1 billion years ago, did God watch microscopic life appear? Near 1,000 years passed, see on the ballooning skein of space specks of humankind, who now peer through time to find in their telescope creation's embers glowing red. Seeing creation up close, what plain and fiery words flicker in their minds?